Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the 2013 Preakness Stakes here at SBR Forum Videos, and we are talking right now with Lucas Marquardt, who is a horse racing handicapper and a horse racing writer for Thoroughbred Daily News. We just got finished discussing the favorites and the log shots, and now we're going to discuss matchup props a bit, my favorite way to bet Triple Crown races. Lucas, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, before we get into a discussion of matchup props, tell us quickly a little bit about yourself and what you do for Thoroughbred Daily News.
I've been writing for the Thoroughbred Daily News for about 10 years. We're a small paper that kind of focuses in on the breeding side of the business, and could do a lot of sales coverage in Kentucky and Florida and California, and but we also do a lot of covering of the races and do a lot of international coverage as well.
So, matchup props. Orb, it sounds to me like, you're not very enthusiastic about Orb, but that you agree that he's the best horse in the race. You think he is going to win, and you wouldn't probably want to bet on him or against him in matchup props. But based on what you said, it sounds to me like Golden Sense is a horse that you think might be a bit undervalued here. So I'm thinking you might recommend him as a play on in matchup props.
I'm probably going to go back a little bit on what I had said. I'd probably bet against him on a lot of the matchup things.
Really? Okay.
I think he's the horse that could move. He's a horse that could move forward off the Derby, but he's also a horse that could be too close to a hot pace, and with some legitimate distance limitations in his pedigrees, or some question marks about his pedigree in terms of going a mile in 3/16. I think it'd actually be worth taking a shot on some other horses against him.
All right. So, what are some of the other horses besides Orb that you think might have some value in matchup props?
I think It's My Lucky Day is going to set a perfect trip in the race. I think he's going to be mid-pack, and he gets the addition of Johnny Velasquez, who is a real top rider and knows how to win these big races. I would think that he's a horse that you could look at to get value on in those matchups. All
right, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think we're going to lay off betting against Orb in matchup props, because even though we don't think he's necessarily undervalued or overvalued, we do think he's going to win the race. What of these other horses, either any of the long shots or the second, third, or fourth choices, do you think might be a little bit overvalued and might be a good bet against in matchup props?
I think, it's tough to. I think My Loot, for instance, I think is going to be shorter odds in the race than he should be. In part because his Derby race, it was good. It was a good race, but he really rallied into super fast fractions, and maybe it looked a little bit better than it was.
Right.
But also the presence of Rosina Pravnik is really going to drive down his price.
Okay, well, what about Departing? I mean, Departing right now, from the futures odds that I'm seeing, is the second choice in the race. You said probably third or fourth would be more appropriate.
Yeah, I just think there are too many question marks with that horse. I've been very impressed by his wins. He's by a sire named Warfront, who has gotten a lot of good two-turn grass horses, but hasn't gotten a lot of good two-turn dirt horses. Obviously, Departing is I think he's 3 for 4 around two turns and has looked very good. Ran third in the Louisiana Derby to Revolutionary and My Loot. Both of those horses finished in the top 5 in the Kentucky Derby. So he's a horse with some talent, but up against this class of, up against the Orbs, up against the It's My Lucky Days, I think he has a lot to prove. And at second choice or third choice in the general wagering, I'm not sure you'd really want to back him.
Okay, so maybe It's My Lucky Day over Departing, and then maybe even Orb over Departing. I mean, if Departing goes off if it maintains these odds and goes off as a second choice, you'll get a pretty decent price at Orb just to beat Departing.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you got a decent price on that, I would definitely take Orb.
All right, well, I think that just about does it. Thanks so much, Lucas Marquardt from Thoroughbred Daily News. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun.